This video is a discussion about the philosophical ramifications of the double slit experiment and also the delayed choice experiment. The double slit experiment, which again first was discovered in 1805 by Young, and then further developed on the quantum mechanics revolution in the 1920s, around 1928 and so forth, with the Copenhagen interpretation, proved that particles had a wave-particle duality. And what that means is that a particle exists in a state of potential prior to being observed, and then it becomes a particle, and we view and live in a discrete world. So the double slit experiment, if a single photon is shot out of here, will come through the two slits and form a wave pattern if unobserved. So the one particle will go through both slits in a state of superposition as entangled pairs and collide with each other, to collide with itself, to form that wave pattern. If the particle or the wave or particle, it's actually a wave at this point, if there's observation here prior to hitting the back wall, the particle will obtain its reality, and it'll become actualized and just hit the one spot on the back wall repeatedly over time as experiments would be done. So the observation is what actualizes the particle. So all of that is absolutely amazing in itself, and there's a lot of ramifications, and I think we're going to have several videos on this to keep getting deeper into this. But even more important than that, John Wheeler theorized in the 1960s the delayed choice experiment. And what that is if you did the double slit experiment, you had your two slits here, make the observation, and then have two slits again. You prove that a particle goes back in time. And the way this happens is, again, if a single photon is shot through here, they come through the two slits in superposition in forms of potential. If the observation is here, and then let's say they were coming down this tube here, and when they came out, once these two slits appear again, the particle will have a choice again, and it will go back to being a wave and form a wave pattern on the back wall. So what that means is that it had to go back in time, because once this observation occurred here, it became a particle. It was actualized. But once these two slits occurred again, it reverts back to a wave, of a state of potential. So I'm not sure of the exact science of how I'm drawing out this diagram, but the ramifications of this are absolutely for sure is that the particle goes back in time from being actualized to an actual particle to going back to be a wave, because then it can go through both slits and form the wave pattern on the final back wall. The other amazing thing about this is that the actual double slit experiment is a lot more sophisticated than this drawing. But what they found was, and the actual experiment was done in 1969, I believe, the actual collapse occurs not on measurement, which would be the back wall, for example, but on the potential observation and knowledge by a human mind. So that is just an absolutely amazing thing that's been discovered, and we're going to have more videos on this to dig deeper into this exactly. But what that means is that the mind has a special status in the universe and the creation of reality. So going back to this whole discussion of Rene Descartes, I think, therefore I am, the fact that wave particle, the quantum collapse occurs on observation, all of this going back to the mind, it's special. We need to further examine that in future videos.